Sup, ding dongs. It is Dagger Cast. I'm your host, Lindsey Charles, and thank you so much for joining us. Sorry if I sound disgusting. The allergies have been real bad around here. Um, but regardless, I have some news, some fun, exciting news. Last episode, we had Claire Cooney on to talk about departing seniors and how wonderfully a song from the Cell Phones and other local Chicago bands got on that soundtrack. We are all very excited about it. When we talked to Claire at the last interview, she kind of said, oh, we don't know like where it's gonna get picked up. We don't know like what festivals it's gonna hit, but that she would let us know. Turns out last Friday, on what, the 20th, 21st? And I'm just checking. The 19th, Friday the 19th, at the freaking, I'm going to say it in the American way, the Cannes Film Festival. Departing Seniors debuted on at the I believe it was a cool little showcase that they called the Fantastic Pavilion. Looks like Cannes is trying very hard to make it not just about big movies, like Killers of the Flower Moon, of course, was just constantly talked about, but they're also trying to play genre movies, and one of them was Departing Seniors. So it was very shocking to realize that a song that my band made actually played aloud at this film festival, this very famous ass film festival. So what a wonderful start for Departing Seniors. What a wonderful beginning. I am very excited to see where they go from here, where Claire goes from here, where Jose goes from here. Like, I'm just so proud and so excited for everyone. Also, my German cousin was in Caen the same weekend that my movie was playing, which is kind of crazy. Hallo Judith. So anyway, let's get to this episode. We are talking with the first ever person that we ever interviewed, Donnie Moore, who is a Chicago staple of music. He was in the band's Absolutely Not. He helped program a wonderful series of concerts under the name Glitter Creeps. He was also recently in a band called None of Your Concern, and now he is letting his inner demon out under the name Slim Neck. A single has already been released, so find him wherever you see wherever you get your music from. There will be more coming. I got a little sneak peek, and I'm gonna tell you, it's pretty hot. So please listen to Slim Neck as much as you can, and let's talk some horror with Donnie Moore. Donnie, it is so good to see you.
It's so good to see you always.
I honestly feel very spoiled because I did get to see you in December, all the way over in LA.
Yes.
You're a Hollywood boy, and you're my Hollywood joy. So good Lord.
Oh no, I love it.
You literally were what, our first episode? So this is
oh yes, I was indeed. This is full circle as
yes, welcome back. I don't know, what have you been up to? You can be as vague as you want. I don't care, but
I've been soaking up the much needed sunshine in LA for sure. I have been working on a new solo endeavor of letting a festering demon that's been inside of me come out and make his own record. And and that's basically it. It's very funny that I came to LA in the sunshine and created probably like the darkest thing I've ever done. So interesting, but that's okay.
That's amazing. So like, okay, like kind of explain that. You because I don't know, I always like want to toy with like concepts and like ideas, and I feel like I just never get fully to a place.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily know Like when I became a mom, I started thinking like, oh, I'm gonna write a whole album just about being a mom and how I feel like I'm being turned into like I feel like after having a baby, I was like morphing into like a werewolf. And that werewolf was being a mom and a parent and like all of that shit. But I haven't gone there yet. But yeah, like I guess explain that. Like is it dark in the sense of like is it John Carpenter-y? Is it electronic? Like
It's kind of all of it,
cool.
you know. It's kind of like a persona, for lack of a better word, that I'm trying to create. It's a character
Nice.
that is a musician but also has like a vigilante kind of vibe to him, because a
Okay.
lot of the way that he will be speaking a little more truthfully sometimes on social media about things, and
Okay.
a lot of the lyrical content is, calling things out. Like there's songs where it's like kind of poking at like the police, or like using too many pills and just like stuff. I don't want to like say too much, but
Well, sure.
like, yeah, it's just, I want it to be this like dark confrontational entity that is kind of horror, but he's not horror in the sense that he's like a serial killer coming to get you. He's just like this thing.
I love it. No, I love this so much. And I feel like you kind of did that, like kind of explored that a little bit with you may or may not have been involved in We Are None of Your Concern.
Yeah, I don't
Um
I that sounds like a great band, but I don't
yeah,
know.
it's a cool band. It's
Yeah.
it seems a bit similar, but that was kind of more of like a gold glam kind of I don't know,
Yes.
more flashy type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was more about like the us being anonymous was kind of less about that we were trying to hide that it was us, and it was more like when you come to see the show or you listen to the music, you're not like picturing the two of us. You just like have just like this image of these two figures.
Cool.
And to me, especially with electronic music, and why I'm going this route too with my new project, is there's something to when you hear like something darker and more electronic, and then the thing or person that walks out on stage matches that energy or that vibe visually.
Mhm.
It kind of, to me, feels more like I'm wearing this shirt, this Black Plague, like how they even are, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Their whole look, they've got like the leather and the ski mask, and it's just like all this stuff, because they look how they sound, if that
Yeah,
makes any sense. Yeah. So
absolutely.
that's kind of more the reason behind that. I'm not trying to hide behind the character. It's more of just like, don't think about me when you listen to this. Think about this thing, you
Well,
know?
yeah, and I think it's cool, like, to take, like, a piece of you out, like, just highlight one bit of you and, like, make that a thing.
Exactly.
I
Exactly. Because this is the dark part of me for sure.
it's
Like, little, yeah.
it's inspiring. It's very, like now I'm like, I don't know, I almost feel like, this is, like, homework for my therapist. What part of me should I pull out and make a whole band out of? Like,
Yeah. No,
tell me
because
what
you
that should
should.
be.
I am 100% subscribing to this idea. You need to do this for sure.
That's really cool. That being said, I very much also miss Absolutely Not. You guys had a farewell show before you left.
Yeah.
I was so sad from so far away. Like I really wished I could have been there. That would have been a really cool send off. But I don't know. One of these days I'm gonna write a song for the cell phones that you just have to be on. Like I'll just send it to you
Yes.
and you'll have to just
Oh, yes, that's 100% fine. I would
I will
100% do that willingly. Two
cool.
thumbs up.
Man, I would want that. Okay, let's talk about horror. So
Yes.
I for the very first time, I said I'd never do it. But now that we're on the other side of the other side question mark of the pandemic question
Yep.
mark.
Yeah. Are
All
we?
right.
We are.
So many things are becoming the norm. This Zoomage,
Yeah.
working remotely for the rest of my life possibly. I renting movies that have been in the theater for like a week. that you can buy for, you can rent for $20.
Right. And
Um,
hope that you like it enough to have it permanently there.
and at first I was like, well, no, and it's literally to rent. Like I think you still like if it's brand new, you pay like $25 or less, and
Right. Oh,
you
it's
just
just to
get
watch it and then
just
it
to watch it for
expires in
like,
2 days.
yeah, like expires in
Oh,
2 days.
right.
So I
Okay.
did that for Evil Dead Rise. And actually being a busy woman on a schedule with a what Ryan and I are now calling a three-nager. Um,
I
we don't get to,
love that.
yeah. No, dude, that is so is the most when he said it, I was like, that's the most accurate thing you've ever fucking said. That's it right there. Um, we can't get to the movies much. I miss the days where you could just call us and say, "Hey, do you want to go to a movie?" And us just go, "Yes," and we're on a train right now. Let's go.
Yes, like
Um,
let's go. Yes.
but like now it's like now we have to get parents, the grandparents to agree and babysitter or whatever the hell, and it's a big old production now. So actually
Hmm.
being able to watch this like literally on my lunch break was very nice. So I
Yeah.
did watch it. I thought like they're doing something with Evil Dead right now that's almost gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like I thought that the movie was beautiful. I don't know what,
No, it was so well shot. It was like disgusting how good it looked. Yeah.
like every eye effect
Yeah.
looked fully terrifying. The
Yeah.
main character, the mom, was so beautiful by herself, but also weirdly when she was fucking disgusting. Like,
Hmm.
and I was like shocked. Other things that like really like surprised me where I was like, it didn't have anything to do with anything, but she was a tattoo artist.
Hmm.
And I think she was only a tattoo artist so that we could have the tattoo needle eye moment. That was
Oh, of
literally the
course.
only reason.
Yep.
Um, my only problem with the movie was that I didn't like who it was happening to. Like
Hmm.
I was having a really rough time as someone who has a three-nager or just a
Hmm.
child in general. Like they looked like what it was obviously a family not of any high financial means. There
Hmm.
obviously was a dad that was dead.
Hmm.
There was like there were three kids. They didn't look like old teenagers. Like they looked like kids.
Hmm.
So when things were happening to them, I was like, I don't like this. Like, why is this happening to like a cute family that's obviously like not rich?
I think that is exactly I think that's a really good point because I've had that same thought, but I wondered if that was possibly why too, is because like it's gonna upset you so much more
Hmm.
if you're like so for the people. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
I
So
mean,
I wonder if that was an intentional move or just like I don't know. But yeah, I
yeah,
completely agree with you. It's harder to watch it when it's or harder to watch that happen to characters like that. Yeah,
and
yeah,
I just kept thinking of the poor girl, like the
yeah.
youngest girl. I'm like, you're
Mhm.
like, how do you live your life right now? Like, how do you
Yeah.
even continue existing with that much trauma? That was like that, like that's not only something you can't really explain to anybody around you, but also you just watched your entire family. Like it reminded me a lot of, I don't know if you've watched or there was a comic series called Crossed that was
Hmm.
Warren
No, I
Ellis
don't.
did it.
Yeah.
Oh man, but it was like basically like a zombie story. It was a very Last of Us situation, but it was like the zombies were horrible, like sex crazed, murder crazed freaks that like would do the worst shit and say just the most disgusting shit.
Yeah.
Very like Evil Dead. And it just made me think of that because not only were you trying to survive a zombie apocalypse, but like the zombies themselves were like disgustingly evil. Like,
Yeah.
and so people were like losing their goddamn minds. And it's just like one of those, like, I don't know. Sometimes, like, I remember reading Crossed and being like, that's not a world I would live in. Like, that's a zombie apocalypse where I would like probably try to find a way to not be there, or be like, okay, we're all just gonna, what are the Gen Z is saying, unalive myself.
Yes, exactly. It's just like, we're
Like,
gonna just, I'm
and
gonna
just
go.
see you later. It's getting too weird for me.
Yeah.
But like I just felt like, yeah, that was like maybe the hardest part for me, was being like, usually Evil Dead is happening to a bunch of disjointed teenagers in a cabin that,
The teenagers that look like they're actually like 29 or 30. Yeah.
yeah, they look like adults. They're not necessarily related to each other.
Right.
Like, and it's just kind of like, we're just idiot teenagers. Whereas these were like kids that were obviously like, yeah, we had to pretty much like, we're living. They
Yeah.
just had, they had like, the apartment itself just had this such like a full family life in it,
Yeah.
that when horrible things started to happen, I was just like, but no. Like the
Right,
way
right,
she
right.
was saying to her daughter about like, oh, your dad's here, let us in. Like I would, and she's just like unlocking the door, because of course you would.
Right, right, right.
Why wouldn't you? I know your
Right.
mom looks fucking disgusting, but like, she's still your mom, and she's
All
still
right.
alive somehow. Like,
Right.
yeah, I just
Which
was
I
very,
think that's what I'm saying. I think that very much added to how horrific it was too. And I did like the fact that they modernized it, but in the sense of like bringing it to a city where it was like an elevator shaft instead of the
Mhm.
plants and like all this kind of stuff. Um, but they modernized it and it wasn't cheesy. Or, I mean, it was cheesy because all Evil Deads are cheesy, but you know what I mean? It wasn't like, it wasn't good or bad cheesy. It just felt like a natural progression to like, this is an industrial Evil Dead. You
Yeah,
know
and
what I
everything
mean?
everything
Yeah.
really made sense in the way that, like, you know, uh LA is a really weird, it's an old place with a lot of weird secrets, and
Mm-hmm.
uh it was obviously an old building that was going to be
Right.
torn down anyway. And
Mm-hmm.
like I think it made the dark, whatever dark thing is, creating these books of the dead, like, was obviously like on red alert, and was like, we need to like get someone to do something. And so a perfectly timed earthquake and
Yeah.
hey, here's the
Yes.
Hulk, come look in here. um
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was like really, like, you could tell that like something was going to be forgotten, and then it wasn't. So I think
Yes.
I like when whatever dark entity is happening, like I like when we're seeing them like kind of in desperation. And so that seemed very, inhabiting this poor mom in her elevator was like, it just seemed like a very desperate move. And when they needed those kids to be dead,
Yeah.
the two survivors to be dead, like it was very obvious that they were like, no, 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 you need to be dead. um
Yeah.
so yeah, I liked that also.
The
Yeah,
beginning and the end too.
yeah, I very
Like, I
much liked that.
really very much liked that. Yeah.
Well, I wondered to myself, like, when it said one day earlier, I was like,
Yeah.
how did we get all the way the fuck out here? Like,
Right.
you
Exactly.
know?
Yeah.
But by the end, it made so it didn't like give away everything at the beginning, because you still had to be like, how do these connect? Um,
Exactly.
so I thought that was really cool. And I liked, yeah, it was, because yeah, at first I thought that that girl was literally just gonna drive away, like without seeing all of the carnage, like the amount of
Yes,
blood,
exactly.
because she
Yeah.
would have. There just was like a moment where I was like, wait a minute, what's going on
You're
over there?
like, mm,
So good. Also, I loved the whole time I was like watching, I was like, oh, the son in this movie is like very like wonderfully androgynous.
so wonderfully androgynous.
And so then I looked it up, and it's a trans actor.
Yeah.
I was like, like it was because they didn't say, the character didn't have anything trans about the,
But
we did.
that was what I'm saying. I love that the most. It was like, it's so rare when it's something like that that goes just like unacknowledged in the, like, let's put a spotlight on it, or let's make sure that,
Absolutely.
it's just like, no, this is
Like,
just a character, like, shut up, that's all you need to know. Like, yeah,
yeah,
I love
I,
that. No, it's normalize, just normalize it, like, for,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
No, and honestly, like, the story of that character could have been that they were, but
100%.
they never address it. And honestly, I didn't even care if they did. Like, and I even felt
I love that they didn't. Yeah.
this
Yeah.
was me being like, even me looking it up, I felt like, why am I doing this?
Right,
Like,
right, right,
why am I even like, why am I trying to ask the question? Like, literally, am I trying to figure out this actor's genitals? Like, that's what I'm
right.
doing. So, like, I had a whole like moment with myself that was very like, okay, great. Like, did you have to know that? Like, I don't know why
Right.
you did. I almost didn't look it up, and then I just last minute looked it up. And how I noticed was it was just like it was just funny because the actor who I think's first name is Morgan, I do not remember the last name, but
Yeah.
he was a child actor, and the parts that he played younger were obviously like girls, and so I was like,
Right.
oh, like it makes
Right.
sense, like
Right. 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 Right.
and apparently had come out as trans just 3 years ago. So this, like, I think this is I don't know, just leave it up to horror to be
That
the genre that just is like, I don't give a
I've
shit.
been, I feel like I've said this a couple times this past couple weeks, but like, because people have been asking me, like, why do you watch so much horror stuff all the time? But it's like, I feel like it's one of the only genres that is constantly pushing boundaries, pushing like normalizing things, pushing like edginess, just like it's one of the only forms of cinema that surprises me anymore, because you watch a lot of dramas and a lot of comedies and things like that, and the rom-coms, and it's just like they have this formula that they just never break from, and horror is constantly breaking formulas, and that is what I'm interested in seeing. I don't want to see the same movie I've seen 78 times already. Like, show me
Exactly.
something different.
Like even with how everybody's like freaking out about A24 stuff, which is great.
Yeah. Yeah.
A24, wonderful. We love. But like
Yes,
even their stuff is a little formulaic in the sense
for
where
sure.
it's like we have to have cool actor.
Because it's their formula now. Now
Yeah,
they've made a formula without having a formula. Yeah.
exactly. And sometimes they push and pull at it a little bit, but most of the
Hmm.
time it's like, it's like honestly, I'm so done with Mia Goth. Like, I'm sorry. Like, here it is. I'm ready to just say it. I think her
You're
voice
coming
is,
out of the closet.
I'm sorry guys, here I am. Her voice is so annoying. And she's just like, I'm the edgy girl that's gonna do edgy time, but I look
Hmm.
cute and I'm a good
Hmm.
actress, so you're gonna like it, but also
Hmm.
I can be insane. And I'm just like, okay,
Hmm.
cool.
I did love Pearl.
Dude, Pearl, yeah, Pearl was
Like,
great. She, but again, it's like those parts, like it's like that movie got TikTok famous
yeah,
because
for
of all
sure.
of the sound bites and all of the I loved Infinity Pool, but I think
Speaking
that
of TikTok, by the way, can
mhm,
I just say something? Do you know the thing about the movie Megan? Did you see Megan?
yes.
Okay. Do you know why Megan was PG-13 in the theater, and then why they released the unrated version on streaming sites?
No.
Because the movie apparently was re-edited to PG-13 right before it came out, because her dancing in the hallway went so viral on TikTok that they wanted to make sure that 13-year-olds could go see Megan.
That's insane. Dude, I have like
So
a
you saw Megan the TikTok version in theaters.
well, and Megan, like, not only did Megan become a TikTok like superstar, but also like a gay icon
No, for
overnight.
sure. For sure.
Like
I was watching like,
Deservedly so.
oh, absolutely. I
Yeah.
was seeing drag performances that were killing it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I was really high when I watched Megan, and I thought Megan was a movie.
It really was. It really, at least it was self-aware.
Yeah, very much so. Like when she lullaby sings the
Literally the best thing ever.
titanium, like she's like, I am titanium. I'm
I
like,
was the theater that I was in was laughing, thankfully. We were all like it was just so brilliant. So
good.
funny.
Because I literally like I'll get high and I will like get on my like Instagram stories and say just the most ridiculous shit. But I was like, guys, we live in the timeline where the song Titanium is sung as a lullaby to a child in a horror movie.
Hmm.
That's where we are. I
Hmm.
welcome to it, guys. Like I
I'm
was
kind of
so,
into it.
yeah, I'm like, I think we're in the timeline, guys. Like we're in the right one.
Hmm.
Ridiculous. But like I also thought I thought that Allison Williams's character was literally a total steal from Kristen Stewart in SNL when she pretends to where it's the Duolingo for kids
Hmm.
where they don't know how to talk to kids, so she's like just saying like, oh hey, what, like she can't talk to children, so she was like on Duolingo and she's like, cool backpack, like I bet you like chicken. She's like saying like chicken fingers, like
I
learning
do remember that.
things that kids would say. Allison Williams the entire time was like that. I was like, we really just picked a woman who does not want to have anything to do with a child.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yes.
I know people who don't want to have kids or don't do kids at all, and they can at least speak to a kid because they're like, oh, I remember what kids were like. I remember what I was like. Hey, kid.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
but
Right, 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 right.
like, she literally was like, I have no idea how to even communicate with you one time. And it blew my mind. And I was like, if you could have talked to a kid even slightly better, this would never have happened.
Right.
So I kind of liked, I don't know, being a mom now, like you really do see like that the world really does normalize thinking kids are stupid and terrible.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm fine with people not wanting to have kids. I'm
Yeah.
fine with people, but I am so not fine when I bring my child to like a public place and people look at my kid like, why did you bring your kid here? And
Right.
I'm
And you're
like,
just like, because I did,
I was
because
like,
she's not psycho, so it's
because
fine.
because you live in a world where children exist. Like,
Yeah.
like,
People have children, they birth babies.
yeah, like I'm at a
Right.
place where food is being prepared, and my child is eating it. Like I don't know what, like, oh, because you came to a patio that sells beer, you can't have a kid here. Like I feel that, and it's so like it's always just like the worst person who's just like,
Yeah.
what's happening?
Yeah, looking at her like, gross.
Ugh,
Yeah.
ew, they brought their kid here. Why? And like loud enough for me to hear. I'm just like, hell no.
Yeah, that's because that's just obnoxious. That's
Right.
obnoxious.
And it just makes
Yeah,
like it makes kids feel like, oh, nobody wants me here. And it's like
for sure.
that's that's
It's
so
like you can
80s.
think all you want, don't like bring it out in the world.
Yeah, that's like such an 80s thought to have.
Yeah,
Like, or my
yeah.
grandmother is just so like, oh, children should be seen and not heard. And I'm just like, and yet she wants me to bring my child every fucking where. Like they went to a street fair. She's like, bring your daughter, bring Olive. I want to see her. And I'm like, oh, you want me to traipse my kid through Zionsville, Indiana? Sure.
Sure, let's go.
As long as you don't get mad at her for crying about anything. Like, like such bullshit. But yeah, I guess circling back,
You were
I'm
upset
done.
about the children in the Evil Dead.
Yeah, still just but the children.
But
I
the
don't know.
children. No, I hear you. I hear you.
I
I hear
mean,
you.
I got mad. Like one of the seasons of Ozark ends with a man like putting his kid underwater, and at first you think he's gonna drown him, but then it's like, oh no, maybe he's just like baptizing him or something. And I
Yeah.
remember during the like mere seconds that child was underwater being like, like fully like
Yeah.
spasming, crying, having a fucking fit.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just like now I guess it just hits different. Children hit
Yeah.
different for me now, and I hate that because it's like I love horror and I still want to enjoy this, and I still like,
Yeah.
but yeah, whenever like now I'm at that like point where I feel like an old person. Like when my dad was like, "Oh, I can't ride roller coasters anymore." I was like, "What?"
No, but it's also just like sometimes people can very easily, it's a age-old issue of like you can very easily judge something you know very little about. And like you don't have a kid, you don't really know about it, you don't have that connection or feeling or whatever. So you can look at it and be like, oh, pff, whatever. But then when you have it, obviously that changes your entire perception on that. So
Yeah.
it
You
makes perfect
also
sense.
you also mentioned The Lodge, which
I
also has
did.
kids in it.
I just have been really into kids getting hurt these days. Okay, that's like my new subgenre. It's just like, hi, do you have any movies where children get like brutally tortured? I would love to watch that.
Um uh yeah, you mentioned The Lodge, which like I watched, and that to me was like a bit of a slow burn, but uh what, it's got Elvis Presley's granddaughter in it, and she's
Hmm.
awesome. Like she's always awesome. And
Oh wait, that's her, the main, well, the I guess main girl, that was her.
Riley Keough.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
was great in that movie.
I think she's amazing, and I really
Yeah.
think that you know, I feel like you get to see performances of people in horror like so much, like you're just like, "Oh, that person should be doing like more stuff like all the
Hmm.
time." Like I got mad when I was like, who is doing more than Alexander Skarsgård in Infinity Pool? That man was
Right.
literally watching himself be murdered.
Right. Right.
Why isn't he getting an Oscar? And yet
Yeah.
I think at
Because
the
horror is always such an ignored genre with awards. It's yeah.
it really is, like, it kind of blows my mind because I feel like there was more acting in that movie alone than like anything.
Hmm.
But I really think she's gonna get more opportunities. Like she was in Mad Max. Like I feel like she's gonna get more. But remind me of what happens in The Lodge because I feel like I saw it and I really feel like I was
Yeah.
like,
And I'm so glad because it's like I'm also glad that like a Nepo baby is actually good at acting.
right? Them
um
Nepo babies.
but yeah, so um it was the two kids, their mother shoots herself, and then
Yes.
they have to go live with the dad who has a girlfriend who used to be in a cult.
Yes.
Yes. And then it kind of in like it starts like leaning like, is this girl still crazy from the cult? Like now she's left alone with the kids because the dad's gone. Like, is she gonna do something crazy? And then it kind of starts spinning and turning, and it just, yes, you remember now, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
But yeah,
definitely.
I agree with you that it was a super slow burn because when I was watching it at first, I remember even having the feeling of like, I think if I wait it out, it's gonna reward me kind of thing. I just
Yeah.
was getting that vibe.
Mm-hmm.
So I stuck with it because it wasn't necessarily boring. It was just like there were just points where you're just kind of like, okay, I'm ready for you to like get to your point. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But once I fully kind of got the vibe of the movie and then the twists and everything started happening, I was just like, okay, I totally get why you did what you did, and this is a very good reward. You know,
Yeah.
not a 10 out of 10 movie, but like it was very good.
Exactly. Like I feel like, yeah, I just feel like there's it like kid stuff is okay sometimes. But yeah,
Unless
for
it's
me,
funny
like,
games.
yeah. Oh god. Oh god.
I
But
know.
see,
Don't
and that like
rewatch funny games now, Lindsay. Don't.
but see, but even that, like, it's the kids doing it too. So it's almost like it make like to me that like kind of changed things a little bit.
Yeah,
And then
it's a
also just kind of
teenager killing like a 9-year old or whatever. I mean, it's, yeah, it's
exactly.
it's a lot. Yeah.
Well, and even like Stephen King has done it. Like there was like I remember Ryan didn't read Doctor Sleep but watched the movie, and
Mm-hmm.
I was like they kill a fucking kid in the book. Like I don't like, is this PG-13? Like is this gonna be like,
Yeah,
okay.
that scene blew my mind. That was like for a Hollywood film to just like very on camera like kill like a what seemed to be like a 7, 8 year old or whatever. I was
Yeah,
just
because
like,
it was basically
wow,
like,
wow.
yeah, it was literally like a whole like traveling group of people who were like, oh, we need to kill kids with special powers. Like we need to suck
Right.
the life out of their bodies. And then when they like they did, like the girl finds the boy that's been dug up, and they like, yeah, they basically just, they don't show it to you, but they really like make a big show of him holding him down
Mm-hmm.
and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um I remember being, yeah, like this was pre-Olive, and I remember just being like, yeah, that I can't believe they're showing this on the movie. Like I can't believe they're doing this, but hey, whatever. I'll keep that. Like, and
Get
now I
him.
think I would have been like, just like, why are they doing this to me? You know, like,
No, for sure, for sure, for sure.
good Lord. Well, yeah, is this you're a dog owner? Is it the same with dogs? Like, do you ever like,
I was sitting here in the back of my head, like, I cannot level with Lindsay by saying the dog thing, but
no, you can't. I
since you
mean,
just I know, but since you just brought it up, when I was little, since I was always raised around dogs, and I have a dog, like, there's just always been a dog around. And yes, up until like the past couple of years where like I feel like I'm so desensitized by reality and horror films and I'm just like,
mhm.
whatever, dude. It doesn't bother me, but it used to, yeah, really bother me when they would like brutally kill a dog in a movie. I'd be like, well, I mean, like, what did he do? He was just sitting there, like, leave him alone.
Aw.
And it's so yeah, it's like it's not the same, but it's the same.
That's, yeah, exactly. Like I feel like there's even like a website where it's like, does the dog die?
Right.
But I don't think they have one for kids.
Which is really horrible. It's like, does the
Hmm,
child die is probably more imperative
will there
than
be a child? Like I almost feel like, where there's always like little like things like, like this is rated R for strong language,
right.
sexual position, or whatever. I think they should have one for like child death. I think they might. I don't know. I'll have to do some more
Also,
research
can I
on
just say that I just looked up and realized that since the sun has set during this podcast, the light from the corner is slowly like coming, and now I've just gotten creepier as
it.
we
It's looking
get
real
up.
good. Get the mask on. Put
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
the
I mean, I don't have that, Lindsay. I don't know what you're
No.
talking about. He took that with him when he left, so
No,
I don't
it's
know.
so is Slim Neck the entity?
I
is
mean,
that
he
what it
lives inside of me, so like when he
okay.
goes away, he goes away, and then when he comes out, he comes out,
Well, thank you so much for talking with me. Jared's been
Of
sending
course.
me time things, and I've just been like, I want to talk. I just want to keep talking.
I know, but I've like, it's fine because we'll just have to do this again.
Yes, absolutely. Please, if you have a movie like that, you're just like, Lindsay, we need to talk about it. Like
No, for sure.
I'm here to do that. I sometimes I want to do a deep dive into one specific movie, and sometimes I want to hop around like today.
Yeah.
Apologies to Mia Goth. I looked up like she's in
Yeah,
it.
because I'm over here just like, Mia, I'm so sorry. I do not fully agree with this statement. I do not back Lindsay's statement.
She's like, I'm sorry. I'm just so like I'm in every movie, and this is how it's going to be,
No,
Lindsay.
I totally, you know what it is? It's and I am not equating Mia Goth to the following thing because gross, but um it's oversaturation of anything. It's
Yes.
the Marvel movies. Mia Goth is the Marvel movies of
She's the
horror right now.
A24 Marvel team. Who else? We've got it's like Ari Aster
And
is
it's like
the
it's almost like not even her fault because it's just like all you wanted to do was just be like this actress that was in all these movies and now you are, and it's just like you can't say no because why would you say no? But then at the same time it's gonna get to an oversaturation point and I'm gonna be like,
exactly.
damn, like come on,
Yeah, I
like
want the Avengers music. I want Robert Pattinson to like come out like, like
mm-hmm,
he's the
mm-hmm,
Captain America of this
mm-hmm.
situation. Joaquin
Yes.
Phoenix is some weird trickster devil. Like
Yeah, that's
it's just
yep.
yeah, I just sometimes I feel like yeah, and I mean horror has its own kind of formulaic stuff, but I feel like it does a better job of keeping the culture like of the people who are underrepresented constantly top of mind.
Constantly, yes. I
And
completely agree. And touching on it in better ways than other Hollywood movies are.
exactly. Even in
And again,
24s.
not like just with Evil Dead Rising, just like making it a non-issue. It's just
Yeah.
like, this is the character in the movie. If you have a problem with that, then don't watch this film.
Cool.
We're not going to give you the scene where we explain it out like, this is blah 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 and this is why. It's like, fuck that shit. Like,
yeah, it's like, oh no, the reason why I found the Book of the Dead was because I'm trans. Like, I
yeah.
was just so happy we didn't get that, because
Yeah, no, for real, same.
in someone else's hands we might have. Like,
no,
if
we
this
would
were
have
a bigger budget film, maybe we would have. Ugh. Or not at all. They just wouldn't have picked a trans actor at all.
I just think it's that one. Yeah,
It's that one. Well,
yeah.
thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to plug or talk about before, or do you have any like
No,
for
I
when
just want to
you're
plug my love for you. That's up.
you're so sweet. Oh, thank you so much, Donnie. Thanks for being with us.
Of course, anytime.
And that's the show. Thank you so much for listening, watching, whatever you were doing. And you know, feel free to send me an email if you'd like any questions or comments or offers to let me talk to you. It's daggercastinfo@gmail.com. Also Instagram, we follow that pretty closely. So please drop us a line. Thank you. Bye 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 bye.